Okay, before the break, we talked about the emotional aspects of dealing with workplace harassment. Now it's time to talk about the legal ones. Joining us now is North Texas attorney. This is Clint David, and we welcome you back. Thank you so much for being here today. Okay, so obviously there are upsetting and morale issues when this harassment and bullying happens in the workplace. We saw some examples, but there are lots of different types of harassment. Walk us through legally what those are.
Well, there are. I mean, first of all, you can put bullying and sexual harassment under one big category, which is abuse of power and abuse of control in the workplace. And everything sort of falls down from there. Legally speaking, there's kind of two kinds of sexual harassment. One is what's called quid pro quo, which is Latin for this for that. It gets real simple from there. It's your employer says, if you want a raise, you will do this. Or if you don't do that, you will get fired. Quid pro quo. That's very easy to show if somebody's crazy enough to put that in an email.
I'm sure you've seen people are.
People do strange things, so that's the one kind.
Then that means you're getting.
That's it. I mean, if there's one incident, done.
Done. Email. Now, email. The
other kind is more complex. It's called hostile work environment. That kind of requires a series of events, like unwanted sexual advances that have to occur over a period of time. Harder to prove. It takes on a series of events, and sometimes it's hard to show that because what the law requires is not that it's just offensive to the individual that received it, but it also has to be offensive to the reasonable person, whatever that means, if there are reasonable people out there. So that if you're a particularly sensitive person and these events offend you, but the normal or a reasonable person it doesn't offend, then you're not going to be able to prove your case. So the point is, these things aren't that easy.
And like you said, you have so many people running to attorneys oftentimes, and they don't have a case. It's if you're offended, maybe someone's told a bad joke, it's not maybe necessarily a case. So let's walk through some of the myths to really break it down for GMT viewers. The first one is the harassment has to happen to you to lodge a complaint with your employer. What do you say to that?
It does not have to happen to you. In the sense of the hostile work environment, if somebody else in your workplace is being sexually harassed, and because of that continual action, you yourself are unable to carry out your reasonable duties and responsibilities in the job, and it's creating a hostile work environment for you, then you step up, you report it to your employers, so it can happen to you even though it's directed to somebody else.
So if you feel uncomfortable, if it's directed towards someone else, your work environment's infected, you may have a case. So that we bang this one for this. Let's go to the next point. If your boss makes one obscene comment, this is enough for a valid claim of sexual harassment. This we mentioned before, just earlier. This happens a lot. I'm sure you see this a lot.
It does. People feel if they're offended in the workplace through a joke or a gesture, none of which are defensible, it still seems as though people feel they can race to their lawyer and have a claim for sexual harassment. It's not that easy, and a one-off joke or a one-off comment doesn't work unless it's the this for that thing, where you can prove if you don't do this, then this is what's going to happen bad to you at the workplace. That's kind of a slam dunk.
That's what we take the rubber gavel and we just hit the person. When they tell a bad joke, just say, get out of here, stop it, knock it off.
They'll learn the hard way.
Maybe not run to an attorney. We're getting good information here. Number 3, I don't need to report the offensive conduct to my employer. I just need to call my attorney. Is that right?
That's wrong. If you want to hold your employer responsible for the sexual harassment you're suffering in the workplace, you have to bring it to their attention, go through the proper channels. And that's only logical because the employer can't do anything about fixing the problem if you do not give them the ability to do so. If you are being harassed in the workplace, go to the offender, say, I don't like this, stop it. Then go to your employer and let them know specifically what's happening and go through the proper channels and give them a chance to cure it. Because if you don't, they're just going to come back later. If you go to an attorney or the EEOC, they're going to say, you didn't give me a chance to fix the problem.
Don't just run to the judge. He'll say, go back and try to fix this first. Kind of like mom and dads do with the siblings, right? Fix this among yourselves first. Only come to us if you absolutely need help. Number 4, and our last point, proving cases of sexual harassment is pretty easy. You say not so.
It is not easy. Just because you're offended, and you may be truly offended in the workplace, doesn't mean it's illegal sexual harassment. It's tougher. Clients come to us frequently, will tell us things that happen in the workplace. It is offensive. I would hate it if I was them, but they're always shocked to learn that it may not give rise to illegal sexual harassment. But here's the key, Amy. You don't have to suffer in silence. Whether or not it's illegal sexual harassment is besides the point. Tell the person to stop it, report it upstream, because I promise you the employer is going to know that the employee is setting them up for a potential sexual harassment lawsuit. Going to the EEOC, they'll go drop the hammer better on the bad person.
Okay, so basically what we learned today is sometimes you just need to directly tell the offender, and maybe this is going to go away by itself if they don't realize it, but then use legal action if you really feel this is a hostile work environment.
Absolutely correct.
All good information. We can contact you for more. Thank you so much, Clint, for being here today. Okay, Kara, you've come up with some interesting facts that you have found about workplace harassment.